They're either lying to you or they're ignorant. There's no polite way around this. When experts, doctors, or plant based advocates say things like sugar doesn't cause type 2 diabetes or red meat is responsible for all chronic disease, you know they're either deliberately misleading you or they don't understand the reality of what's happening in front of their eyes. And the proof? It's everywhere. People cutting sugar and carbs and reversing type 2 diabetes. People eating nothing but red meat and eggs and getting healthier than they have been in decades. So if your studies say the opposite, then there's something broken about your studies. Or you are. And today I'm going to show you why. For years, we've been gaslit about chronic illness. We've been told that type 2 diabetes isn't reversible. We've been told that once you need blood pressure meds, antidepressants, or cholesterol drugs, you need them for life. But the moment someone goes carnivore, or even just cuts most of the carbs, these conditions improve, sometimes disappear altogether. So what happens when the official story doesn't line up with lived reality? Instead of admitting ignorance, the system doubles down. They tell us, that's anecdote, or that can't be true. The studies say otherwise after all. And that's not science, that's denial. I recently watched a debate between a vegan and a carnivore, a debate that I'll link to in the show notes. And here's what struck me. The vegan came armed with stacks of studies, endless charts and citations, all supposedly proving that plant-based eating was better for you than carnivore. On the surface, as he starts to bamboozle you with all his figures and citations and headlines, it looks impressive. But there were three massive problems. First, none of the studies were actually comparing plant-based eating with carnivore. They compared plant-based eating to a normal diet incorporating meat, which would typically mean meat mixed with pasta and sauces and sugar and seed oils and ultra-processed garbage. And yet somehow the conclusion is always the same. Meat is the problem. Really? Not the cola? Not the donuts? Not the seed oils or sugar bombs? Just the red meat. Second problem is these studies can't control for how these people lived before they joined the study. Doesn't matter what gymnastics they do to try and adjust the study. They cannot control for the history of these people. So what was their diet for the last 40 years? How stressed were they? How sedentary? How many bowls of Fruit Loops did they eat each day? None of that is considered, and yet, once again, meat gets the blame. Is that ignorance or deception? It's one or the other, or both. Third problem, the vegan couldn't argue outside the studies. Their entire case lived or died on what the paper said. And when the carnivore talked about real-world examples, the vegan dismissed it all as just anecdotes. And that's the trap. Theory versus reality. Too much time focused on academia and not enough time in the real world. The vegan had theory, the carnivore had reality. And yet the studies, which don't even measure properly what they claim, are treated as infallible, as if nuance doesn't matter at all. This isn't science, this is religion. Let's look at another example. Dr. Neil Barnard from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. He's said directly, diabetes starts not by eating bread or sugar or potatoes, but by eating fat, especially animal fat. On its website, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine doubles down with an article titled, "Does Sugar Cause Diabetes?" Their conclusion? Sugar isn't to blame, fat is. Just think about it for a second. A disease defined by the body's inability to handle sugar is somehow not caused by sugar. And this is where we're back to the same two options. It's either ignorance or deception. Because the lived reality is crystal clear. When people cut carbs and sugar, their blood glucose normalizes. Their A1C drops. Their insulin sensitivity improves. Many even come off their medications entirely. If fat were the true cause, cutting carbs wouldn't work. But it does, over and over again. So why do they cling to this story? Because admitting carnivore could reverse these conditions would be admitting that decades of their advice was completely wrong. It would mean rewriting textbooks. It would mean undermining the studies, the institutions, and the careers built on the old narrative. So to protect these things, and probably also to protect ego, they don't change course. They gaslight you. They tell you not to believe your own results. Sure, some people had good results, but that's just anecdote. It's not borne out by the evidence. It's not borne out by the studies. Don't believe your lying eyes. That doesn't sound like science to me. And here's where the story collapses. The proof is everywhere. Thousands of people that were once told this can't be done are now living proof that it can. Type 2 diabetes reversed, blood pressure normalized, weight lost and kept off, depression lifted and inflammation gone.
I have zero knee pain.
So my back pain is gone.
I could remember it. And that was so amazing.
I have the arthritis and my back is gone. I don't have no more bursitis in my knees.
My anxiety is gone.
The depression is gone.
And since I've gone carnivore, I have no more gray hair.
After 6 weeks or so, I just woke up one morning and I felt incredible.
My gums stopped bleeding like everyone talks about.
In less than a week on carnivore, his elbow pain was gone.
Heartburn's gone. My knee pain is completely gone.
Joint pain in my wrist gone.
A month in, and all of my symptoms for the gastritis had gone.
I just would get like this exhaustion that was unreal. And that's gone away.
That was another thing I noticed within the first week was my acne was gone and my skin had finally cleared up.
And it turned out that my tumor was gone.
All the pain is gone. All of it.
You know, skin tags I had on my eyes or on my neck here, they all gone.
Is not on metformin. His type 2 diabetes is gone. We just had his labs drawn. His labs are absolutely perfect.
Lo and behold, 2 days after starting carnivore, my fibromyalgia was gone. I had no pain.
I would say 1 to 2 months, my pain was gone.
I woke up one morning, went to bed that night with still these aches and pains, woke up the next morning. It was all gone.
And it took me a few seconds to realize and to wake up properly and to realize that my bladder pain is gone.
After 2 weeks, I realized that my eczema is gone.
The clicking's gone, my knees are better, I can kneel anywhere and I don't have any problems, which is really amazing.
My anxiety is almost gone. In fact, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now with you at all.
The glaucoma's gone.
Within a few weeks, the pain from my hips was pretty well gone.
I think about the 5th or 6th day in, the arthritis pain had gone.
When I went on the carnivore, I would say 90% of my pain is gone.
The weight loss was a bonus. The arthritis being gone was the big plus.
The freedom of being emotionally, mentally, and physically healthy. And it's because of how I choose to eat.
For the first time in 6 years, I'm under 300 pounds again.
No more sleep apnea. My husband says, you don't even snore anymore. I have to check you to make sure you're breathing.
You know, it's gone. You know, my skin tags are gone. My knee patches, my elbow patches, my nasal congestion, which was a debilitating issue.
And then as my energy levels increased and I hit that moment where my depression just disappeared. I had never, ever in my adult life thought that I would reach that point again of just feeling like that weight was lifted off my mind. And then the pain started going with it.
I don't snore anymore, or so my wife tells me, which is fantastic. I don't have any pain, back pain, knee pain. You know, that's inflammation. That's gone.
About 5 weeks in, we both lost a lot of weight very quickly.
My blood pressure has gone down. My heart condition is getting better.
Climbing up accommodation ladders all over a ship, up and down
ladders into cargo cranes. It's an active job, and I'm thriving in it. I'm just loving it.
And that's an interesting thing to say coming from someone who had hip arthritis and
Yeah.
was feeling tired all the time.
Gone. Just like that.
And he emailed me a couple days later and he said, according to your blood work, you don't have rheumatoid arthritis anymore.
I mean, my blood pressure began to improve right away, but it took a while. My gout was really one of the last things that kind of resolved. But yeah, today I have none of those issues.
I feel better now than I did when I was 30.
And my right hand, there was actually almost no tremor, and my left hand has improved drastically. I couldn't use it. It was just during a mass. My left hand was just for the aesthetics, I could say that I couldn't really use it. But actually, after a couple of improvements, I started to use my left hand in day-to-day life.
So at the end of the day, it's this simple. When they tell you that sugar doesn't cause type 2 diabetes, or that red meat is the enemy, they are either lying or they're ignorant. Because if sugar doesn't cause type 2 diabetes, why does it go away when you cut sugar out? Weird, isn't it? And to discover how we got so sick in the first place, check out this video next.